What's going on, Buffs Nations? It is that time of year where we're starting to see all of the early lines and early predictions, way too early top 25s and all that's coming down the line. So it's a fun time because it's all speculation as well as, in a way, it's going to be disrespectful. And right now I'm seeing a lot of disrespect for the Buffs because DraftKings Sportsbook had dropped their early lines for the games coming up this season. And 5 of them showed up for Colorado. And a couple of them really kind of struck a nerve with me as if there's no belief in the Buffs whatsoever because some lines are too big and some lines are too small. So we're going to jump into that. A little bit later, we'll also talk about how Coach Prom's probably going to react to this. You don't want to miss that, so stick around to the end. So let's jump right into these lines here on the prime time for college football. So, as mentioned, Vegas is starting, right? And when DraftKings dropped their early lines, I was looking at a few of the games, a lot of marquee games on there coming this season. And so, of course, I had to search and see what Buff Nation is going to be expecting. And yeah, the disrespect appears to be quite real. So let's go ahead and not bury the lead and jump right into it. And so this is what those spreads look like, right? These are the 5 early lines that DraftKings dropped. You have North Dakota State spread. You've got Nebraska, Colorado State, Kansas State, as well as Utah. So those 5 games are showing up, and these are those numbers, right? So first off, let's break this down. North Dakota State is part of FCS, Missouri Valley Conference, and they think that the Buffs at home to open the season is only a 7-point favorite in that game. I'm going to be 100% honest. That one's probably the most disrespectful line out of all of them. And I cannot wait to hear what Prime and all of them have to say once, this is brought to their attention. But this is wild. North Dakota State. Now, granted, North Dakota State is a powerhouse in the FCS world. They're infamous for winning a lot of big games. We really think that they're only a 7-point dog in this game? Do we really believe they have a true chance of competing heavily with Colorado? Do we think that 7 points is, that's a fair number? I mean, when other teams are playing against FCS schools, you're typically seeing a spread of 14, 21, 28, 35, 39, 40, at least double digits. They're thinking that Colorado is only a touchdown better than the FCS school right now. Granted, we like to keep it fair around here. With all of the player movement, I guess you could say, you wonder what they're seeing or what's going to actually come from the Buffs. Now, you still got your standards at quarterback, right? Who's projected to be a first-round draft pick at quarterback. That usually gives you a big leg up against everybody. I mean, heck, that honestly, to me, that's a 7-point spread right there by itself. Just the quarterback. The staff is improved. You're adding NFL caliber coaches and former NFL players. And you're seeing the players start to flock in that's needed in order to be successful in the Big 12. But 7 points to me is a wild number to throw at the Buffs. We'll leave it at that. Traveling to Nebraska in game 2, 6.5. After what Colorado did to Nebraska last year, I'm trying to better understand. 6.5-point dogs in Nebraska? I don't see them being a 7-point dog there. Me personally, I anticipate that Colorado should be probably favored by a point in this game. That's the number that I expect, right? I sense that there's a point favorite here that Nebraska should have. That Colorado should have, because Nebraska hasn't changed that much in comparison to what they did last year, right? So we've got this illusion in the minds that Nebraska's going to be just that much better. Now, I think Nebraska's going to be improved, but I don't think Nebraska is that much better than Colorado right now. They have a lot of work to do, but that's crazy to me that we're seeing that Nebraska's that big of a spread. Now, this is what's interesting to me is that next up, you got Colorado State. Colorado State is sitting here as a 8-point dog at home. Colorado traveling to them. So you think Colorado's going to beat up on Colorado State, but you don't think that they can destroy North Dakota State? Because usually your spread's about 3 points, give or take a few. The The average, you would say, is 3. Colorado will be an 11-point plus favorite at home if Colorado State was coming to them. But in this scenario, they're 8-point favorites at Colorado State, but North Dakota State, they're only 7 points. Do they really believe? Well, I mean, they may believe that North Dakota State is much better than Colorado State. But I just found that very peculiar. Now, this is where all the challenges come into play here, right? You're going to be running up with Kansas State as a 6-point favorite coming to Boulder, and Utah coming in as an 8-point favorite in both games. Now, these are later in the season, so I anticipate those spreads will change as the season goes on and Colorado proves themselves, and Coach Prime instead proves themselves. But those are kind of some high spreads, right? That means that if Colorado was traveling to Manhattan, Kansas, or up there to Utah, then that's a 10 to 11 point spread that Colorado will be dogs at those games, right? That's kind of interesting to believe that the team isn't there. Now, it appears that once the rest of the spreads drop, that Colorado will be a dog in every single game in the Big 12 at this point. But based upon this is what it looks like. Now, we'll break down the schedule sometime this summer, getting closer to the season. But I see a lot of disrespect in here. And when it comes to Coach Prime, man, I'm really curious to how he's going to react, because it feels like he's going to remind everybody, all right, they're going to disrespect us. They don't believe in us, but we believe. We'll show up. We'll show out. We'll teach them who Colorado is and what we do. That's what's going to have to happen on the field now, right? It appears that everybody's doubting, even though the team improved last season from the year before, everyone still is doubting what Prime is doing, especially with this unorthodox way of building a roster. And so I'm not going to fight it, argue, even be mad about it. But I do want to hear from you all. Let me know. How do you all feel about those spreads? I mean, I'm going to put them up here one more time for you all to look at. Tell me. Hop in the comments. Would love to hear from you all. Please join the conversation. Love to hear from you all on what this looks like to you all. Do you think Colorado is being disrespected with these lines? Definitely want to hear from you all. Also, we talked a little bit about, some big changes coming to the team, players coming in. Check out that video, as it should be popping up on your screen now. And we'll have more content coming down soon. We'll talk about some of the new arrivals, as well as what the roster looks like with all these changes. I know a lot of you have questions. There's a lot of blogs out there, but we want to make sure that we can get you as much info. So next video's up. Check it out. Sorry, it's on this side. Check it out up there. And we'll talk soon.